Hello learners, let's solve this science acid and base question with ease. Okay, so the question says, in an experiment, red and blue litmus papers were dipped separately into 3 test tubes containing one of the test substances listed in the table below. So this is the table. Okay, so a student performed an experiment by using a red and blue litmus paper to test for an acid and then a base. Okay, so when you talk about red and blue litmus paper, they are used to indicate whether a solution is acidic or basic, or whether a solution contains an acid or a base. So if a solution contains an acid, or if the solution is acidic, it turns the litmus paper red, and then if the solution contains a base, it turns the litmus paper blue. So an acid is red and then a base is blue. So let's use this simple knowledge to solve the question. Okay, so I copy and complete the table by making the necessary observation and conclusion for each substance. Okay, so this is the test substances. So we have 3 test substances here. The first one is lemon juice. So before you start to write your answer, you have to know, is lemon juice an acid or a base? Does lemon juice contains an acid or a base? Okay, so when you study acid and bases, we know that lemon is a citrus fruit together with an orange. They are citrus fruits and then they contain citric acid. Therefore, lemon juice contains an acid, that is citric acid, which is organic acid. Okay, so let's see. So now we know that lemon juice is an acid. Let's see. So red observation, when we put red litmus paper in lemon juice, so since lemon juice is an acid, and then we know that a litmus paper shows red in acidic solution, and then the litmus paper itself is red already. So when it is placed in a lemon juice, since it's an acid, the color remains the same, or the color do not change. So we can say here, no change in color. So no change in color, or the color remains the same, because the lemon juice is an acid already, and an acid shows red in litmus paper. So since this litmus paper is already red, it means there will be no change in color because an acid already shows red. Okay, then blue litmus paper. When blue litmus paper is placed in a lemon juice, since lemon juice is acidic and an acid shows red, therefore this blue color will change to red. So we can say color change to red because the solution is acidic. So acid always shows red on litmus paper. Now conclusion, what can we say about the changes in color here? So since red litmus paper do not change in color, blue litmus paper change to red. This means that the solution is acidic, or it contains acid. So we can say conclusion, the solution is acidic. Okay, let's continue. Second one, calcium hydroxide solution. So calcium hydroxide is a base. A base contains the OH, which is the hydroxide. So the moment you hear hydroxide, it means it is a base. And then base, they show blue color on a litmus paper. Okay, so calcium hydroxide, since a base, red litmus paper, when placed in a calcium hydroxide solution, the red automatically is going to change to blue because calcium hydroxide is a base. So we can say change to blue. Okay, the next one, blue litmus paper. So when blue litmus paper is dipped in calcium hydroxide solution, so since base shows blue color and then the litmus paper is also blue in color, it means the color remains the same, or the color do not change. So we can say no change in color, or color remains the same. Then conclusion, what can we say? So since it changed to blue, it means the solution is a base or basic. So we can say the solution is basic. Now the last one, dilute hydrochloric acid. So acid. So we know that acid always shows red color. So when red litmus paper is placed in dilute hydrochloric acid, and then since it's red, the color is going to remain the same because an acid always shows red color. So you can say no change in color, or color remains the same. Blue litmus paper in an acid, the blue is going to change to red. Yes. So here we are going to say change to red. Okay, so saying the blue litmus paper change to red, it means the solution is acidic. So here conclusion, we can say the solution is acidic. So that is it. Now let's continue. Name two of the test substances that would react with each other to produce salt and water. So we have three test substances here. Which two can react and produce salt and water? So when you talk about this, we are talking about neutralization reaction, an acid and base reacting to produce salt and water only. So let's select one acid and one base so that it forms salt and water. Okay, so here lemon juice is an acid, that is true. Calcium hydroxide is a base, this is an acid. So let's choose these two so that in case the question asks us to write a balanced equation, it becomes easier for us. So let's say calcium hydroxide and dilute hydrochloric acid will react with each other to produce salt and water. So one is calcium hydroxide solution and dilute hydrochloric acid. So these two can react and produce salt and water. Write down a balanced chemical equation for the reaction in II above. So we have to balance a reaction of calcium hydroxide and dilute hydrochloric acid. Okay. So calcium hydroxide, the chemical formula is calcium is C, hydroxide is OH. And then the calcium has a charge of positive 2 here, so it will be given to the hydroxide. Therefore, we place this one in a bracket and we place the 2 here. Reacting, that is plus, reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid, that is HCl. Reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce or to yield. So they are going to produce salt and water. So the salt is calcium chloride. So they are going to produce calcium chloride. And then calcium is having a charge of positive 2 here. So it will be given to the chlorine. So calcium chloride plus water, that is H2O. Okay, so this equation is not balanced. So when equation is set to balance, it means the number of atoms at the reactor side and the product side, they are the same. So here we can see clearly that the chlorine is having 2 atoms here, but the chlorine here is having 1. So let's place a coefficient of 2 here. So this 2 is affecting the hydrogen here. So the hydrogen here also must get the 2. So the 2 here. So this is a right chemical balance equation. So if you found this one helpful, like, comment, and share for your friends. Thank you.